Hey guys, welcome back to an all-new episode of Khanflicks. Today we'll be looking at an all-new scooter. This year's the all-new ElitePrime by Yadea, a company that makes a variety of different scooters as well as different bikes. This year is their latest innovation on the typical scooter. Now, as you can already tell, it's got a very unique design. It does have that spring leaf suspension, one of my absolute favorites on the front, so you don't have any kind of spring. It actually works based on the design and how it kind of flexes. Now this features a 3-brake system. So you have your front, your rear, and then you do have an electronic brake built into it. So of course, safety is key. Now this thing here can go up to 20 miles per hour with a range of 40 miles overall. Features a nice long, wide steering rack here, as well as a beautiful display screen to kind of showcase, as well as magnetic charging and magnetic holding. Now this features an 800-watt motor, so it's overall a pretty strong scooter. Now, if you guys want to learn more about them, check out the link down below in the description. And in this episode here, we'll be unboxing this thing, trying it out, and seeing exactly what it's all about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so check it out. So this here's their packaging, this here's their box. Now obviously this being a prototype, it is a little different than the final version, so do keep that in mind in case if you are purchasing this. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what's inside. Alright, so you can see it nicely packaged. So inside here, we actually have some different tools. So we have our tire pressure, we have a wrench, and then we have some screws to go ahead and install it. And then we also have a box. So this is going to contain our charger. Alright, so this is cool. So this here is going to be our charger. It's got even like a little wrist strap there to go ahead and carry it about. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Very intuitive and very different compared to some of the other typical chargers we've seen. Alright, so this here it is outside of the box, and overall pretty simple concept. So you do have to kind of build it together. Essentially it's quite simple, so you just go ahead and lift this up, mount on the screws, and then that's about it. Now overall the design concept is very unique. I love the fact that it does have that spring leaf suspension here on the front. Very unique and very intuitive. It definitely has a really futuristic or sleek kind of look. Let's go ahead and set this thing up. So first thing we're going to do is kind of lift this part up here, and then we'll lock it in play. The next thing we're gonna do is install our handlebar. So to do that, just kind of slide right in. And then we wanna go ahead and clip in the 2 wires together. Now note there's 2 arrows that are pointing towards each other. Make sure they're pointing when you do push them in, as the pins can get damaged. And then they supply us with the 4 screws, which we'll be just installing right now. Okay, and then these have thread locks, which is great. So you don't have to worry about them getting untightened as you progressively use it. Now one thing to note, I can tell you right off the back, is that this is actually a very tall scooter. I mean, I am actually 5'11", so seeing this in my height, I actually feel really short for it. So that's kind of interesting to see how this kind of plays out, especially with the ride situation. But again, it does kind of keep you off the ground, so that's kind of interesting to see too. So let's just see how this plays out. Alright, so check it out. So this here is our scooter finally done. Looks really impressive. Surprisingly, it's actually very, very tall. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm actually 5'11", and look where the handles are for me. This is absolutely crazy. Now, traditionally, they're quite lower, but this one's pretty high up. But then again, the standing plate is also quite high, so kind of curious to see how that all plays out. Now, it definitely has a really sleek, futuristic feel to it. I love the spring leaf suspension on the front there. That definitely is very unique. Now, you do have a screen right over here, as well as your power button. There is an app which we'll be looking at in just a little bit. You have your turn signals, your throttle, your front and rear brake, your bell, and then your headlight on the front, reflector on the bottom. You do have the hinge there to go ahead and lock it, which is right over there. And on the back you do have your tail light as well as your rear caliper brake. Now it does have a very unique stand, so it's actually part of the actual design concept. It's like a straight piece, so that's kind of cool too. And obviously the charger kind of flows with the whole dynamic of the scooter itself. Now let's go ahead and fold this thing up and kind of showcase that. So the way you would fold it is quite simple. So there's a little latch here on the front, there's a little orange button, just kind of lift that up, and then I'll go ahead and release it, pull it back, and then like that. And on this side here, you'll see a little like area to go ahead and open up this little flap. This will be for our locking mechanism. Just gonna bring that down here, hook it into this little tiny spot here, and just like that, now we can go ahead and carry it about. How cool is that? So let's go ahead and take this thing outside next and try it out. All right, so we're outside on this beautiful day, taking a look at, of course, our ElitePrime scooter. Now, of course, as previously mentioned, you do have this unique looking spring leaf design suspension. So it doesn't have an actual spring, it's actually integrated almost like a V. Now, this does feature 3 braking systems. So you have your front, rear, as well as your electronic brake. As we already showcased before, this is where you go ahead and disconnect it to go ahead and fold it down. You have your reflector. Up here, you have your headlight. And then on this here, you actually have a nice wide, almost like a V-like bar. You have your bell right here as well. And then of course you have your throttle here on the right-hand side. Now this here is your power button for the actual display itself. Now you have a nice wide stance for the display of the line to go ahead and ride it along. And then of course you do have your rear disc brake. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop on this thing next and try it out. All right. So the scooter here actually does have a little bit of buoyancy to it, and that's because the suspension on the front makes it a little bit more flexible and kind of makes you feel like you're almost standing on a cloud.
Now, it does have a very smooth transition of power, meaning when you go ahead and accelerate, it doesn't jerk you as you would see in other scooters, but this one here actually makes it very smooth and very easy to use. Now, the top speed on this is about 18.6 miles per hour, as it does feature an 800 watt motor with 1500 watt peak power. I do love the spring leaf design as it does give you good feedback as you go over different bumps. Now the nice wide stance definitely makes it easier to use, and I really think they did a great job in terms of flexibility, as you can very much maneuver this with ease.
All right, so overall it is a great scooter. I have to say it's definitely one of the smoother ones, I have to say. It's got a very unique, simplistic design, and they did a great job with it. Now, this particular scooter is designed for your day-to-day commute, and if you're looking for something like that, I would highly recommend it because 1, it's lightweight, and 2, it's very easy to use. Now, if you guys had any questions about it, feel free to comment down below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode. Take care now. Bye-bye.